guys, it is Good Friday and I wanted to record a little video, give a short devotional, just a way to focus on what we are supposed to be focused on today. Last week it was interesting, we did a challenge with the youth staff and we initially asked them, just for fun, a question, do you prefer tacos or pizza? And so are you team taco, team pizza? And 4 of the 5 of us chose team taco, which was interesting. And then there was Bruce. And when Bruce was asked, team taco, team pizza, his answer was yes, which is totally normal because we actually like to have both. We like situations where we can have the both, this and that. Today, actually, we're reflecting on a time where both was not an option. We're reflecting on a very real truth that the wage of sin is death. In John chapter 16, Jesus is sitting with his disciples and he's prepping them for what's to come. And he says, you will weep and mourn while the world rejoices. He says it's similar to if a woman was to give birth, there's great pain, but when the child is born, she forgets her anguish. He says, I've told you these things so that in me you will have peace. And he continues to say, in this world we will have trouble, but fear not, for he has overcome the world. Overcoming sin was at great cost to him, and that's what we reflect on today. In Luke chapter 23, we're going to pick up. It is already past the time where he has been beaten, scourged, and he's broken, where they have, in mockery, placed a crown of thorns on his head, and where he's had to carry, up until he could carry no longer, the harsh wood on his broken back. And so he is being crucified, and this is what we read in Luke chapter 23. It says, 2 other men, both criminals, were also led out with him to be executed. When they came to the place called the Skull, they crucified him there, along with the criminals, one at his right and the other at his left. Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. And they divided up his clothes by casting lots. The people stood watching, and the rulers even sneered at him. They said, he saved others, let him save himself, if he's God's Messiah, the chosen one. The soldiers came up and mocked him, and they offered him wine vinegar and said, if you are the king of the Jews, save yourself. There was a written notice above him which reads, this is the king of the Jews. One of the criminals who hung there hurled more insults at him. Aren't you the Messiah? Save yourself and us. It's a very real scenario that Jesus encountered. He's supposed to save others and save himself. If you're the king, save yourself. And aren't you the Messiah? Save yourself and us. In order for him to save us, he actually had to sacrifice himself. There was no both and option. Death actually had no claim on him. Death had no wage to collect. He was the sinless who actually took on the sin of the world. And it's interesting if we continue on in verse 40. It says, but the other criminal rebuked the first. He says, don't you fear God, since you are under the same sentence? We are punished justly, for we are getting what our deeds deserve, but this man has done nothing wrong. In order for him to save us, he had to be faithful to his Father's plan. He had to go to the cross and bear the weight of sin that was not his own. So today we reflect on that, the weight of our sin on the cross that he bore. Not in a sense where we carry great shame, but in a real sense that sacrifice cost him everything. Our sin cost him his life. And as we pause today, we we bring that to him, asking for his forgiveness and for his mercy. As we carry on through this weekend, before we celebrate Easter and all that is happening in the resurrection, take some time today to be prayerful about the great cost, about our portion in that. I've actually set aside a playlist. If you are ministered to through music, there's some reflective songs for you guys to check out, or just spend some quiet time in prayer, remembering the great cost, and remembering that in order for us to be saved, he actually had to sacrifice himself.